evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bowie State Sports Talk. I am your host, Jalen Sams, and this is the show where I give you a recap of Bowie State sports news, a recap of their games, their upcoming games, and look, we got a lot to talk about right now. There's CIAA playoffs starting tomorrow, softball season started, basketball regular season came to an end. Got an after show to talk about. Good look, as you all can see, right now I'm wearing a Pain hoodie. As an LA Clippers fan, I am in pain. That's going to be for the after show, though. So stay tuned for the after show. No question of the day today. So let's get straight into the hoops. Bowie's women's basketball team finished the regular season 14-11, which is a major, not major, but really an improvement compared to last season when they went 12-12. They played Virginia State and Lincoln ever since last Monday while I was on the station. They lost against Virginia State. So that's not getting any coverage because that's not important. More importantly, they won their final game of the regular season. They won their final game of the regular season 62-44 against the Lions, which was a close game in the first half. In the first half, the score ended 25-25, but the Bulldogs took off in the second half. They were on a 7-0 run late in the third quarter to take a 9-point lead, which, if you ask me, that put the cherry on top. Not I put the whipped cream on top. My bad. Another 6-0 run late in the fourth quarter, which put the cherry on top of the whipped cream. That gave them a 19-point lead with seconds left to go in the game. They outscored the Lions 37-19 in the second half. Nia Harris finished the game with 21 points. Not surprised at all. She's a walking bucket. Right behind her was Katara Myers, who had 17 points. Those two combined for 38 points. That's 61% of the Bulldogs' 62 points scored. In the first half, they combined for 19 of the Bulldogs' 35 points. So they was out there doing their thing. The men's basketball team finished the regular season 7-21, which is kind of crazy to say because that's the same as that record that they had last season. They had two games since last Monday, one against Virginia State and one against Lincoln. They lost to Virginia State 69-85, but look, I ain't talking about that. I'm going to talk about the Dubs here because they finished the regular season with a big dub against the Lions, 67-56. And just like the women's game, this game was a neck-and-neck game in the first half. It was 25-25 going to overtime, tied up. In the second half, the Bulldogs took off. They put it out of reach, honestly. After going on a 9-0 run to take the lead 63-47 with 1 minute left to go in the game. The Bulldogs outscored the Lions 42-31 in the second half. Now, as you could tell, the Bulldogs went off in the second half. Because in the first half, they shot 6-25, which is 24% from the field. In the second half, they improved to 11-23, which is 47% from the field. In the second half, they shot 17-18 from the free throw line, which is 19%. In the first half, they shot 10-13 from the free throw line, which is 76%. Now they led in this game. Well, Mark Bradshaw led them this game with 21 points off the bench, as he shot 5 for 8. From the field, 4 for 6 from deep, and 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Speaking of free throws, the Bulldogs had a great performance from the free throw line, their best of the season, 27 for 31. That's what's up. And funny thing I found out, for the first time since January 2022, both the men's and the women's team got to win at home on the same day. That's a good way to end the playoffs. And speaking of playoffs, I know this is out here for. It's time to get what everybody's here for, the CIAA tournament. Where all 12 CIAA teams make it, only one can take it home. Only one can win it. The Lady Bulldogs finished fourth in the CIAA standings, meaning that they get a bye game on February. They get a bye game. The tournament starts tomorrow on Tuesday. They get a bye game. So that means they don't got to play in the first round. They play in the second round because of their standing. So their bye game leads them to play the winner of Elizabeth City State, the 5th seed, and 12th seed St. Augustine on February 23rd, 2 p.m. Don't forget, this is taking place in Baltimore, Maryland, for those of you that want to go. Elizabeth City is coming into this tournament on demon time, as they made it to the finals last year, but they lost to the Lions. So they're looking to get their win back. So this is gonna be a hard game for Elizabeth City and St. Augustine. Because St. Augustine, they 12th seed, Elizabeth City 5th seed, looking to get the dub. So I think Elizabeth City going to win. And not only that, Elizabeth City State is currently on the 6-game win streak versus St. Augustine. So history may repeat itself and beat that to a 7-game win streak. That's when 5th seed Elizabeth City State will end up facing 4th seed Bowie State in the quarterfinals. These two teams played twice in the regular season, and Bowie State won both of those games. But take what I just said with a grain of salt, because last year in the quarterfinals as well, Bowie State played 11th seed Virginia State and got blown out. The reason I told you that was because in the regular season, Bowie State played Virginia State twice, and they beat Virginia State twice. But in the playoffs, they lost where it mattered most. So that can mean the same exact outcome for Elizabeth City. So take what I said with a grain of salt. Now, I really didn't want to go over the whole bracket. I was just going to cover the Bulldogs, because after all, this is a Bowie State podcast. But I'll quickly go over the whole bracket. So the opening round matchups are Johnson C. Smith versus Virginia Union. I'm picking Johnson C. Smith. Then you got Elizabeth versus St. Augustine. I got Elizabeth. You got Shaw versus Claflin. I got Shaw. You got Virginia State versus Livingstone. I got Virginia State. The quarterfinal matchups are then going to be Fayetteville versus Johnson C. Smith. I got Fayetteville because they're the number 1 seed. So of course I'm picking them. Elizabeth City versus Bowie. I got Bowie because that's my home team. That's when we got Winston-Salem State versus Shaw. I got Winston-Salem beating Shaw in the quarterfinals. Virginia State versus the defending champs, Lincoln. I got Lincoln. They're the defending champs. They want to get back to the finals. They're trying to 2-peat. I got them. In the semifinals, I got Fayetteville versus Bowie. Unfortunately, I got the Broncos. I do. I think Bowie gonna make it to the semifinals, and they only get kicked out by the Broncos. Like I said, they're the number 1 seed. They're a tough team to beat. They're like 12-2 against conference teams this season. So I'm picking them to make it back to the finals. Then we got Lincoln versus Winston-Salem. I got Lincoln. They're gonna make it back to the finals. Then in the championship round, we got the Broncos versus Lincoln. Number 1 seed versus number 2 seed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going with the number 2 seed to do back-to-back Lincoln State. I got them beating the Broncos in the championship. But I'm not gonna cover it a lot because, like I said, those not my team. I'm here for the Bulldogs. So let's get to the men's bracket. The main Bulldogs finished the season in the 10th seed, meaning that in the first round they don't get a bye game like the girls do. In the first round, they play 7th seed Shaw University. I think that's gonna be that game because when these two teams faced off in the season, Bowie State won that game by 3 points. So I'm giving the edge to the Bulldogs. I think they're going to advance. But I honestly don't think that matter. Whether Shaw advance or Bowie State advance, whoever advances, you got to face the defending champs, Fayetteville, in the second round. Which I think Fayetteville going to be both teams. So if Bowie State advance, I think they get kicked out. Yeah, go Bulldogs. Shout out to Backwood in my chat. I see you. So if Bowie State advances to the second round and face Fayetteville, I think they're going to lose. If Shaw advances to the second round and face Fayetteville, I think Shaw going to lose. So honestly, I don't think it matters who wins the first round. But I may be wrong. Maybe the Bulldogs beat Shaw and beat the defending champs. That's what I'm hoping. But over here, it's no favoritism. It's all realistic right here. Like I said, I think the Bulldogs going to beat Shaw and lose to Fayetteville State and get out in the second round. Now, on the softball. The softball season has finally started. Softball team here at Bowie State University is currently 4-1. They beat Edwards Water 5-2. Handing Edwards their first loss of the season after entering the game 8-0. Shayna Gordon scored 2 runs. Lindsey George hit 3 hits, which led to some of the Bulldogs' 5 points. More impressively, Akira Pullen was LeBron James out there. She was doing everything on offense. She played a role in all 5 of Bowie State points, as she got 4 RBIs and 1 home run, the first home run for the Bulldogs this season. They then went on to play Tuskegee. But entering the 7th, the Bulldogs were down 2-6. Well, that was until Jayla Hill got a nice hit up the middle, which led to 2 RBIs. Evan and Joseph scored, making the game 4-6. Then a few minutes later, Jayla Hill stole a home base to make the score 5-6. Then the error happened at third base, which allowed Taylor Hill to score, making it 6-6. After being down 2-6 like a few minutes ago, the game now tied 6-6. And no, Taylor and Jayla are not related. I thought they were. I did my research. They're not related. They're not siblings. During the bottom seventh, a Tuskegee player hit a nice shot to the left field, which allowed her teammates to score RBI and win the game. The Bulldogs end up losing 6-7. Lindsay got 2 RBIs and 1 home run, the second home run of the season for the Bulldogs. And Jayla also got 2 RBIs and 1 run. No stats are available for the rest of these games, so I'll just read the final score. The Bulldogs beat Albany State 7-2, Clark Atlanta 9-1, and Benedict 12-6. That put them on a 3-game win streak this season. They got 3 games this week. They got Friday against Chowan and Saturday against New Haven and Frostburg. That is it for today's episode of Wednesday Sports Talks. But stay tuned for the after show. I ain't done yet. I got a lot to talk about. Like I said, I'm wearing this paint hoodie because the LA Clippers signed Russell Westbrook, man. With that being said, for the rest of the season, I'm a fan of no NBA team. Look, unless Westbrook go out there and change the Clippers franchise, I'm not supporting the Clippers the rest of the season until he's gone. Until he's off the roster, I am a fan of no team in the NBA. I'm a neutral fan. Not a Clippers fan. None of that. Because why would we sign Russell Westbrook? Like, with all due respect, he's a first round Hall of Famer. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not disrespecting him. But this man's a turnover machine. Brick. Plays terrible. He be having some good moments out there, but he have more bad moments than good moments. And I do not want him on the Clippers. But he's on there, so I'm off the Clippers until he's gone. So I'm not going to be supporting the Warriors or supporting the Denver Nuggets or the Boston Celtics. No. I'm supporting no team until Westbrook is gone. With all due respect to Westbrook. Simple. I got some Washington Wizards fans in the chat. Like, hold on. I was arguing with my friends about it. Hold on. Let me pull up our text message. What did he say? So somebody said, you gotta realize, Jalen, he won't have to do as much like he did for the Lakers because y'all actually have shooters and can space the floors. Now, Washington Wizards fan, that's your team mother. Stop hating. Look, maybe I am hating, so I can't say I'm not hating. I mean, I can't. I'm hating until he proves me wrong. If he proves me wrong, then I'm sorry, with all due respect. But until he proves me wrong, I'm hating. From what I've seen him do this season, I'm hating. But look, he was like, oh, Westbrook got shooters on the Clippers. Did he not have shooters on the Wizards? How did that turn out? What else they say? He said Bradley Beal isn't a player that's going to take you over the hump. I said neither is Westbrook. This man Westbrook been on 20 teams in the last 4 seasons. He went to the Rockets. He didn't take the Rockets over the hump with prime James Harden. He went to the Wizards. He didn't take the Wizards over the hump with Bradley Beal. Went to the Lakers, then take the Lakers over the hump with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Even though Anthony Davis, he got to get hurt every other game. Like, okay, like you said, they were hurt, which is true. But when they weren't hurt, did Westbrook go out there and hoop like MVP Westbrook and lead them to W's? No. And when he was playing with them on the court, was he great all the time? No. Like, look, you said they were hurt. That's even crazier reason that Clippers should not sign Westbrook. When you think of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, what do you think? Hurt. Ankle injury. ACL. Sideline. Load management. So if he wouldn't work with the Lakers because they was hurt, is he going to work with the Clippers? Because they're hurt all the time too. And I saw research that said Anthony Davis played more games with the Lakers than Kawhi did with the Clippers. Maybe I'm not a psychopath. Maybe I'm spitting facts. He didn't, but OKC Thunder didn't work out. Now they had a chance, but I believe Patrick Beverley ruined it. He hurt Westbrook. That was like their best chance to potentially win the championship that year. But other than that, OKC Thunder didn't really work out. Worked out for one season when they made it to the finals. Real sports fans will support the team. Like I said, I'm not jumping. I'm you got me there, okay? I'm a real sports fan. That's why I'm not going to support Celtics or Lakers or whatever. I'm not leaving the team to support another team. Like, they're still my team in heart, but Westbrook got to prove to me that he's worth it. I don't know, but I'm still a Clippers fan, kinda, sorta, kinda. That makes sense. like I said, man, I don't know what kind of we our coach was smelling when he signed Westbrook, but Tyronn Lue, I question you every day, man. I question you every single day. That's what I'm talking about. Let me talk about the All Star game, All Star week. All Star week was pretty cool. Celebrity, I didn't really watch the celebrity game on Friday. Like I had it on, I wasn't paying no attention. Shout out to Jesser, DK Metcalf, other players. Ocho Sink, no, Chat. Wait, who played for the Lions? Megatron. Shout out to them. I didn't really watch it though. The on Saturday, man, that boy Matt did his thing. Oh my God. Well, okay, let the coach bench him if he's playing bad. That would lead to problems though. That could like, if you, I'm not an insider, so I might be wrong, but I really think that Westbrook coming like I remember it was a game. Coach Ham, the Lakers coach, Westbrook to come off the court, and Westbrook was so mad, like he was throwing fits. Like Westbrook got mad, and that led to a few at halftime in the locker room. And I think that's what happened with the Clippers. Like if Tyronn Lue tell him, "Hey, get off the court," or "You got to come off the bench," he'll throw a hissy fit. He's gonna be mad, which I understand because that he's a former starter. He started like all his years in the OKC Thunder, with the Rockets and Wizards. I understand him being mad, but if he's playing bad like, in the coach bench him, that's gonna make Westbrook mad. Like he thinks he's perfect. He don't think he ever play bad. He think everything he do is the right way. If he gets turnover, don't matter. That's the right play. If he airball, don't matter. That was the right play. That's his mindset. So I don't think if he's playing bad and coach stop pulling him off the court, he's gonna be happy. Go back to the All-Star weekend. That boy Matt saved the day on Black History Month, man. Salute to Matt. Cause Jericho Sims, with all due respect, change your last name. My last name is Sims. And you was out there putting on a dookie bookie terrible show. You was disrespecting the Sims family. We're not family, but you disrespecting the Sims generation, the Sims last name. Like, I was rooting for Jericho Sims. Got the same last name. He went out there and did the same dunk twice. But that's when trying to be fancy, pull out an envelope, rip it, and score it. Say that it scored 50. That was like the worst dunk ever. I'd rather seen a layup line than him trying to do a dunk contest again. But all due respect to him. Like I said, Matt, man, he saved the day, man. He saved the day. Cause rest of them dunks, it was alright. Like my favorite dunk, other than Matt, was like in the first round, where a player like caught a lob from the sideline and went under the basket. That was sweet. Everything else was mid. It's a Mac ride, man. Different contest. Damian Lillard, of course, he won. I knew Damian's going to win. That's no surprise. Now, in the All-Star game, I see a lot of people hating on the All-Star game. I mean, I don't blame them because there's a defense being played. And like in the fourth quarter yesterday, they didn't be playing on defense either. Like normally in the fourth quarter when the real defense start, start taking charges and all that. But like there was like no defense in the fourth quarter at all. Like, what's up? So I said maybe, that I think the NBA want to have a tournament in the middle of the season. So instead of the All-Star break, maybe have a tournament in the middle of the season, right? Then at the end of the season, like maybe a month after the finals, that's when we should do the All-Star game. Maybe the different contest and all that. But really, at the end of the season, is when the All-Star game should happen because that's when like players. I think since it's the off season, players going to actually try. If you pull up to like an NCAA school in the off season to a basketball court, an open gym that a player he over there playing contact basketball. Like they play harder in the off season where it don't matter than harder in the All-Star game where it also don't matter. But it's in coverage. Like millions of people are watching you in the All-Star game. Nobody watching you on the off season hoop at a high school. So I think the NBA should move the All-Star game to the off season. The players are actually trying to get back to their season form and whatnot. I think it'd be better that way because it really was a layup line out there. Or like, there's no reason you're an NBA player. You should be doing this a back scratcher in the open lane. Make it fancy. Do a 360 between the legs, behind the back. I don't know. Don't do no standing dunk. That's boring. We want to see lobs. We want to see posterizer. We want to see good defense sometimes. Like All-Star game was pretty mid. Not gonna hold you. I mean, Steph Curry was in there. So like Steph Curry, the best All-Star player ever. I don't care. I'll take Steph Curry over anybody in the All-Star game. Like he's tending to watch the Vince Carter and LeBron and MJ and Kobe. I'd rather see him watch 10 half-court threes from Steph Curry than anything from anybody else. Look, somebody in the chat said facts. Yes, sir. Great minds think alike. What else I want to talk about? Y'all in the lab right now. Y'all not gonna know about this, so just bear with me. But Boruto anime, man, according to Twitter, somebody on Twitter, it could be wrong. I hope it is, but they saying that Boruto anime is going on a hiatus, meaning that like they're not gonna release episodes no more for a long period of time or whatever. In which I kind of feel it, but I don't. Like when it comes to anime that I like, I want to see it weekly. I don't care if the episodes are terrible or whatnot. I still want to see it weekly. And I like Boruto, so I'm good watching it weekly. Like I'm cool, but not having Bleach. I mean, I'm not really, but I don't really mind having Bleach be gone because it's a seasonal anime. Or having Black Clover be gone for a long time, or Dragon Ball Super be gone for a long time. But if I wake up every Sunday, I watch Boruto. That's like my number one thing I look forward to on Sundays. If they're going on hiatus, I understand. But fans are crybaby. They don't like the animation. This, that, and the third. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm not picky. I watch whatever. If it's terrible animation, I'll still watch it. What else I want to talk about? What y'all want to talk about? Backwood, my boy Kenny and Taz. What y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to join loud me right before I get off air? Say anything? Add anything to what I said about the All-Star game? So you guys know, I'll be also on live on Instagram. It was in the chat talk. Y'all can't really see. Focus. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Y'all want to request to join if I get off, you can say anything. Like I say, Westbrook, the Clippers not gonna work out. And Sharon Cooper room. I still don't know what I said. Also, I ain't got to move to the off season. They got to. I beg you, NBA, move the All Star game to the off season. And they're not requesting to join. So that's it for today's episode of Bowie State Sports Talk. You've been listening to the WBSU Radio, and I am Dylan C. your host. Have a good one. I'm out. Some people, just nothing at all.